What's up? Hello and welcome to the ninth episode of the H6 podcast, hosted by Half Past 8 and Swag Rabbit. On today's episode, it's all performance cars with the new Hyundai Elantra NTCR, news of a new GTR, and Ford dueling Chevy for Nurburgring glory. But first, let's talk about Honda, where it's at. So this story, you'll notice it's from last month. It's about a month and a half ago. But I remember this when it came up, and it is worth talking about. For the first time in its 70-year history, Honda is reporting, I think, a quarterly loss.
Was it annual or I thought it was annual? Annual loss. Triggers its first annual loss. Yep.
Okay, so decent chunk of change, but I don't think this is as bad news as some people do. I'm curious what your take is on it before I jump into it.
The more I think about it, the more I think it's just a correction. I mean, everybody was pushed towards EVs, and EV, especially with America backing off on EVs, that market is kind of now collapsing a little bit. It's definitely not got the fucking supports like it had, so it's like two levels got taken out from under it, and now it's readjusting.
Yeah, I concur with that. I think there's a couple of things that went into this. One is that all the other Japanese manufacturers are coming out with a lot. They're bringing back a lot of their old sports cars. They're reviving their line. Honda has the Type R. And I think that's it.
And it attempted to bring back the Prelude, and everybody hates it because it's a weak little bitch car.
Yeah, they fucked up the Prelude. So they're kind of falling behind in the new sort of small sports car segment. And then, the big money on this is the EVs. The thing about EVs is that what people don't want to admit about them is that you have to pay people to buy them. As soon as the federal subsidies dried up, so did the sales. People weren't buying. The people bought them because they were a tax advantage. Once they are a tax advantage, they don't buy them anymore. So when you get rid of that, everyone that wants an EV basically already owns one. The U.S. market is completely EV saturated. They were turning to China, which is just in general a bad idea. And the problem is, as we've mentioned before, more and more Chinese can't really afford new cars, and B, they already have a very dense, very saturated domestic vehicle market, and especially a domestic EV market, because China has gone all in on EVs for a number of reasons I'm not fully going to go into here. So Honda spent a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort developing EVs for the North American market, and they've decided not to pour good money in after bad and can them before they launch, which is the right decision. The article does a good job of going into this, but as much as people people are overreacting on this. I saw when this came out a lot of people talking about how Honda was in dire straits and there were big problems and oh my god, Honda's going down the tubes. This is a readjustment. This is the smart play. I don't think there was any way Honda wasn't going to lose money over this 5-year period at some point anyways. This is just getting that front-loaded, done, out of the way, and giving them freedom to, say, kill the Prelude and make something that isn't shit.
I think any company that is currently trying to do EVs is eventually going to have a market correction at some point because things are going to drop off. They will try to readjust as long as possible to keep the money train going, so that they don't lose market share, but eventually there's going to be corrections on most of these companies that kind of leaned heavily into EVs. We're just seeing the start of that.
Well, and I mean, which of the major auto manufacturers are still investing in EVs in a big way? Subaru's getting a bunch forced on them by Toyota. Toyota's trying to offload the ones they're making on a Subaru. Ford isn't doing them anymore. Chevy isn't doing them anymore.
Chevy is looking at possibilities of doing them, but it's kind of back and forth on whether they're going to. I know Chevy has, Chevy had a couple EVs. I think they already pulled back on them. So this is either the beginning of the end or the beginning the middle or the end of the trend. I'm not sure where we're at in the timeline. I need to take a closer look on how the EV market has been working since Trump got into office. But other than that,
Yeah. And then in the meantime, you have the pure EV manufacturers. Rivian has been treading water ever since it started. Lucid doesn't have any money. And Tesla, the cracks are starting to show in the facade.
yeah, Tesla is trying to save its own appearance right now by saying, we're not making cars anymore. We're making transportation as a service.
Which is a sentence that should horrify you.
Oh, yeah. No, it absolutely does horrify me. It's terrible. I don't like that sentence.
You will own nothing and be happy, that whole thing. So, yeah, leadership is an escape responsibility. They're taking substantial, their leadership and executives are taking substantial pay cuts, which American companies look to the Japanese. They know what to do when you make bad decisions and screw up. You take the fucking
There's a
pay away.
very often used meme that I get sent all the time, and that meme, Japanese companies have one person overseeing a team, and when shit goes wrong, the person overseeing the team gets fired. Well, in the US, it's 6 managers and 1 guy on that boat. When that boat starts going down, they fire the worker.
Yeah.
So for once, fucking a company actually does stuff right. This is what I like about Japanese culture, is that they actually hold the right people accountable.
Yeah. So I see some people freaking out about this. It's a readjustment. Honda will be fine. My hope is that the relaunch Prelude was the peak of Mount Stupid. They have peaked
That
Mount
is
Stupid, and they're starting to make the journey back down again.
that is my hope as well. I'd say a couple things that they could get right now. I mean, um I think they brought back the Integra at one point. If you just keep improving on that platform, it could be pretty good. The problem is that you need more two-door cars. They don't have any because the Integra was fucking literally just like the Civic. It was 4-door. It was like 300 horsepower, but it was stick.
They make a two-door
Which
Civic, I think. I know at some point they did because one of my coworkers drives a
at,
two-door Civic.
at some point they did. The last few generations haven't been, but the two they could bring back and do it right. They need to bring back the Prelude correctly. They need it to be like 300 fucking horsepower. They need it to be all a rear wheel drive for once. And then they could, if they don't want to do that as a rear wheel drive car, they need to bring back the S2K. If they brought back the S2K and made it a real contender, they'd have a chance.
Oh yeah, that S2K, Integra. That's yeah. I mean, solid. Don't have much more to say on that. Beyond, I hope I'm right, and I hope that this is their big readjustment, and that they're going to start doing what all the other Japanese auto manufacturers are doing. Stop trying to dictate, which was the problem with the Prelude, was they were trying to dictate to consumers what they should want, and hopefully they stop doing that and just start selling shit that we actually want, namely small, fun little sports cars.
Yeah.
However, they might have a bit of a challenge coming from across the way. Oh, Hyundai.
This is a
They are on the
Korean
ascent.
company, correct?
Yes, yes, they are. For the longest time, they were kind of known as making just like cheap shit boxes that fell apart.
We actually,
And
3 or
now,
4 podcasts ago, we were talking about how often these fucking cars get stolen.
yep.
Same as Kias.
And now they're really rehabilitating their image. The Elantra N is fucking scary on the track. For its price and its power, it's fucking quick and very nimble. And I love those things. And they're making a TCR variant, the touring car racing variant. It's a limited edition. They're not making it for very long. They're not making very many of them. Um, it's got same drivetrain, just different brakes, different suspension bits, and a rear wing that looks actually looks wise, it's a little high up for me, but I'm sure aerodynamically it's doing wonders. It's got that kind of gooseneck look. The big headline, I think, is this 7,500 less than a Type R.
That
For
is
like,
a pretty big chunk of change to be less than something that is competing against and trying to beat.
yeah. Um, I mean, just north of 40. So they are absolutely, as the headline says, they are coming for Honda's lunch on this. They want to make a better Type R for cheaper, and I love the look of it. This,
I look, the inside, the car, the specs, it all looks good. I've never been a fan of the body style. That's this car is going to be fantastic. I don't think I'll ever own one. I'm not a fan of the body style. The same way I'm not a fan of the Type R body styles right now.
is it
The
because of
four-door
four-door?
look just isn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too long, and I like the sports coupe look that like
Well,
the 8.6
well,
and
yeah.
the Z and all those shits.
Yeah, I
Like
mean
those
that
are beautiful cars to me.
there are sports coupes, there are sports sedans. I think you've got a point in that, like it's
It's not an
they're.
everybody car, but these will be
Mhm.
fantastic cars.
I've never really been a fan of that front end, but I could live with it.
For the
It comes.
performance, I'm sure a lot of people could.
Oh, well, yeah. Let me actually. What are I can't remember off the top of my head the specs on this thing. Which I mean, again, top tier for just north of 40. Uh, oh, the end line, yeah. 1.6 liter turbo inline four, 201 horsepower, and 195 pound-feet of torque. Oh, that's for the N line. The N
That's
itself is the 2 liter turbo with 276 horsepower.
so actually approaching the last gen. It's 24 horsepower lower than the last generation Type R's. They started at 300. So a little bit less horsepower, but if this thing takes corners like they're saying, then
Hmm.
it's still going to be a pretty hardcore car.
How much does it weigh for all of that? Let me see. 3186. Okay, so it's probably got a. I feel like that's a fairly similar power weight ratio to an 8.6. It's just bigger. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a sports sedan. I mean, I will say for autocross, for like club racing, if nothing else, at that price, it's a solid contender for the Type R, or a solid competitor to the Type R, even if maybe the Type R is a little bit faster. Like most of the people going out and buying these cars to go club racing in them, when they're starting out, it's the driver, not the car. And as you develop, you're going to be building out the car and modifying it, and you're autocrossing anyways, where it's not that big of a difference, I would argue. So I could have
It's
put this.
almost going to come down to personal preference
It
between the
re-
two, I think.
it really is, but this is going to edge it out by being cheaper. I mean, it's the performance version is 7,500 less. The if you get it with the automatic, it's still 6 grand less. I think setting aside the TCR, it's yeah. So the TCR is 3,650 over the standard Elantra N. So yeah, the Elantra N is 10 grand cheaper than a Type R.
So I think these things are probably going to come out and they're going to make the Hyundai more popular for sure. I think the Civic buyers market right now is still going to be way bigger. It's definitely not going to do much to the Civic market, but it might start swaying people towards let's give Hyundai a chance for performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So okay, so that's in G Street. Sorry, I'm being a nerd here. Hyundai Type R is in B Street. Oh, okay. So it's probably not as fast on the track as the Type, but just seeing how these are classified, because the Type R is in B Street and the N is in G Street. Was that the N or the N line? I think that was the N. I think I did that right. Yeah, Elantra N25 is G Street. So at least whoever's doing classification for SCCA thinks that the N is not as fast in raw times. But again, 10 grand cheaper for a performance sport coupe and like 276 horsepower is nothing to sneeze at in a car that light.
No, and this is almost the TCR edition is gonna be like a straight race car too. It's even got trunk bracing.
Yeah. Yeah. 35,100. So this, if you want to get into autocross or any kind of club racing, except for rallycross, because you're not rallying these things, and you want a good starter like sports sedan, you don't want to just take your daily driver. You want something, or maybe you want a daily driver you can compete with on the track. 35K for an N or 40K for the limited version. Get them while they're hot. Solid bet. So Honda has got to come out with something that is this cheap. Maybe a new S2K. Maybe
I doubt the S2K will be anything like. I think the S2K is going to be 10 grand over the Civic. I think if they could make a affordable Integra that's still fun, that would probably be in the same class as this.
Or if they did what they should do with the Prelude, which is unfuck the drivetrain and then strip everything out. But the only problem with stripping, and this is where I delve into kind of a pet peeve of mine, which is all of those fun little, grocery getter cars that you could soup up and have fun with back in the 90s and aughts don't exist anymore. And they don't exist anymore because the reason why they were fun and enjoyable was because the manufacturers put no fucking sound deadening in them. Like if you've ever driven in or ridden in like an 04 STI, I've got a buddy of mine's got an 04 STI. That thing is loud, NVH off the charts, because the way they made that thing quick and nimble and fun was just, it's a drivetrain and a box and you hear everything. Wear earplugs. And nowadays, if you come out with a fun little sports sedan and you want to keep it cheap, you get consumers, you get reviewers, they're like, the cabin is too loud, the ride isn't super comfortable. And I mean, I've seen people do reviews of the 8.6, they talk about, the ride is a little bit harsh.
Bitch, it's a sports car. What do you want? A fucking suspension that does this as you drive? You're not going to get it. Shut up.
So I like that we are starting to see I started to see the N's been out for a while. The TCR just kind of underlines the point that as part of this renaissance of Japanese and Korean fun little sports cars, we're seeing a nice mix of good sports sedans. The TCR just kind of adds to that. And I like that rear wing.
Another little anecdote. I didn't even know these cars existed as far as the Elantra N goes. I knew they had Elantras. I did not know they had a performance version of this car until a story came out of California about one of these cars getting state refed for modified exhaust, and the thing was bone stock. The cop told the guy, so anybody that doesn't know this story, the cop pulled over this kid that had just bought this car like, I think, a month prior, and told him that he needs to go back to Hyundai and have them put the regular exhaust on the car because the performance exhaust was too loud for the street. And he politely told them that that's not how it works, and the cop took offense at that. So he state refed the car, and then they would not give him the ability to. If a state ref ticket does not allow you to drive the car. It's like a fix-it ticket, except they actually fucking bother to make sure that that car is no longer on the road. He could not get this overturned. He went to court over it. He did everything he could. He eventually had to go buy another car. And that's how I learned these things existed.
Which is fucking, like, I remember that story. It is the height of stupidity.
Yeah, it really is. And considering you have California is like the land of the heavily modified supercars with super loud exhaust, and none of those guys get bullied. Some of them do.
Because
they leave most of the really rich people alone.
There's your answer.
I'm going to have to cut that.
You're going to have to cut that.
I'm going to have to cut that.
I don't know what else to say. I like this thing. And Honda, to add on to the previous segment, Honda's really got some catching up to do. They've got some unfucking to do. Here's hoping, because Hyundai is no longer the like cheap, shitty sedans and SUVs that your mom buys because she just wants something to get from point A to point B. They make shit that's actually fun and neat and interesting, and they're actually willing to experiment. See also the Santa Cruz. I know it
I'll
didn't
believe
pan
these
out,
cars
but
are
at least
really
they
good
tried.
when you. I'll believe these cars were good when I start hearing about them at your SCCA events.
People race Elantra Ns. I haven't seen one yet, but I know there's people that drive them. I've seen them. There was one not last weekend, the weekend before, I think, when I had the Rallycross, and that Sunday it was canceled because of rain, which annoys me a little bit because the rain just makes it more fun. But dude, if you taken an 8.6 autocrossing in the rain, oh my god, it is hilarious.
I've turned off all the traction controls and gotten really squirrely in parking lots a couple times.
This isn't so to complete my thought before I go on the tangent. There was a Elantra N signed up for that one, but last weekend on Saturday it was pouring down, and I went to a novice school, and I got to drive on like my crappy 500 treadwear tires that I have in pouring rain with the traction control off. And I spun the car once, and track worker runs up to me to make sure everything's okay. I roll down the window, and I am laughing my ass off because I spun the car out, got it back straight, and just plowed over a cone and dragged that sucker. And I'm rolling my window down, and I am busting a gut laughing because it was amazing. But yeah, it's just no traction control. We do it live. Hilarious fun. Autocross in the rain is so much fun. And there were people on the Discord going, yeah, I don't want to go because it's raining and it's scary. It's okay. You only live once. Anyways, I like this. Moving on to American news, because we need more of that, because I'm a bit of a Jet fanatic. So Ford set a banging time on the Nurburgring with their Mustang GTD, and then Chevy says, fuck you, we can do it better with the CR1X. And then Ford goes, nah, we have more. We can get more out of this car. And they did. 652,072.
So Ford literally looked at the ZR1X and said, hold my moonshine, I got this. It beat the ZR1X by more than 8 seconds. Do you know how much of an ass whooping 8 seconds is on a course that takes 6 minutes to go through?
Yeah. Oh no, 652 was their first attempt. 640,835. Apropos, I was rewatching Ford v Ferrari last night, and one of the themes of the movie is like Ford corporate being like garbage bureaucracy, and then Ford Motorsports being Mavericks. This is that. Like right now, Ford corporate is garbage. Ford corporate sucks. Their heads are so far up their asses they've wrapped all the way back around again. But they're
like locking
motorsports guys. Their motorsports guys are still putting in work. I like this shit.
Their motorsports guys did something so impressive that Ford corporate had to get its finger out of its own ass for a day and go, okay, well, anybody that bought a GTD, we're now going to give this tune for free.
Oh shit! Really?
I think so. It's either a light pricing difference or it's just like straight up being given out. I think it's in this article.
What's funny is it's like the V8 was retuned to make more than the standard 815 horsepower, though they didn't reveal the exact power figure.
I fucking wonder why.
It's like we got it to make more power. We're not telling you how much, but
No,
it
why
makes
not?
more
Scroll
power.
up a little bit. Let's see if we can see where I was seeing that.
Won't keep its performance locked away from potential owners either. Ooh. Ooh. I mean, these things are. Oh yeah, GTD competition will be part of the next set of GTDs going up for sale. Okay, so yeah, they're
Oh, okay.
selling
So
this thing.
okay, so they're gonna tune the cars that are going to be sold from now on, and they'll probably charge the current owners that
Mhm.
already bought this fucking. How much did these things cost? 240 or 400,000?
I
It was
know.
something fucking ridiculous. I
I
forget
know
exactly what it
you
was.
have to be on a list, like you have to apply to purchase one of these.
Well, that's the Ferrari rule, and everybody's fucking following it now. Oh, I
You,
was in between.
yeah,
I
you
was.
understand it by 100 grand. If I remember
I
correctly.
did. Well, I understated it and then I overstated it, so I actually fucking split the difference instead of getting right on. So $327,960.
Oh,
I have a feeling that's going to go up another 10 grand for the new version.
it gets worse. Look at this. Over 400 grand for the special editions.
That's where I got the 400 grand from. So there are special editions for the car. Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured as much.
Street legal version of the GT3 race car. Yeah. Yeah. These are the kind of cars that are so expensive, the options become free. Just it only American manufacturers really do that, but it's kind of like the whole what was it, the Exorcist, where it came with one seat and for $1 you could have them put in the rest.
Yeah.
So oh
They had the I feel like this is like the old school Detroit days. Because back in the old school Detroit days, all those people were buying the cars brand new. They were buying the new muscle cars, whatever was the hottest at the time. And they would go out and the people would street race with each other and then go back and the dealerships would ask, what's winning? What's winning the most often? And they would get told, and then they would immediately go back to the manufacturers and go, here's what's winning right now. We need to keep up.
so we have the video of it. Just look at this fucker.
The only time I've ever seen a Ford go around the Nurburgring besides this that impressed me was Von Gittin Jr. rented the track for like 3 hours or something and managed to drift the entire ring
Wow.
in his Ford Mustang. Yeah. It was his, I think it was his drift car, like that he uses for professional use. Yeah, this thing's fast as fuck. I'm surprised they didn't have that crazy asshole that drives all the VWs on here way over the, like, passing Porsches do all the driving for this car. It wouldn't have surprised me at all.
Yeah, that is
He is
going
getting,
over 180 miles, closing in on 200 miles an hour, going down the straights.
and it's kind of terrifying to do that on that course too, because there's a lot of points where it just, the turn kind of comes out of nowhere. So unless you know exactly what you're doing, it's scary. What
Yeah,
was that other one? Fucking the GT had a 615 or something.
615.
The Ford GT. Let me see the Ford GT's time real quick. Ford GT time at Nurburgring. So they had the competition version of the Ford GT, the newest one. Yeah, 615,977, April 2026. So Ford set two fucking different records on these. Like they set their fastest time ever as a manufacturer, and then they set a time that beat. I would actually say that the Corvette is in a class above the Mustang. So in most cases,
Well,
so
this was apparently the sixth fastest time under the pre-production / prototype class.
yes,
But I mean, how many? I'd have to look at the leaderboard, but I wonder how many of the ones above it are actually being sold in significant numbers, and how many of them are homologation specials.
almost none of them. The top one on the leaderboard is still the AMG one, and I'm not sure if they actually bothered to sell that to people.
Well, I want to see more out of the Ford v Chevy rivalry. I want to see what this Americans can still do it. We can still build cool shit, and I want to see more of it. I love it. This and the Corvette, kick ass. Speaking of things that are kick ass and just way faster than they should be, the GTR. It's back. Or it will be.
It's confirmed to be coming back by the Nissan CEO himself.
And we have no more information on it. They're making it.
None at all.
We're probably not going to see any information on any specifics until like next year, and it's not going to come to market until at least 2028 at the earliest. So we've got a
I'd say
ways to
2028 is a
go.
good call.
But they're making a new GTR.
Yep, they made the final editions. I think them are either last year or this year. They're making the final editions, and they are coming out with the Z is getting big upgrades. We talked about this 2 weeks ago ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are also talks about them bringing in a sports car below that. We've talked about this as well as there are talks about bringing back the Sylvia as a starter car. So Nissan, lots of excitement. And this is what I'm talking about when Honda needs to get its shit together, because Toyota and Nissan are doing it right and Honda needs to get on the boat. You know what else needs to get on the boat? Fucking Mazda. Look at me. Look at me, you sons of bitches. Mazda, get your shit together. Do it. Not just the Miata. You bring back RX-7s, you son of a bitch.
I don't think. Well, they have the RX-8.
They have the RX-8, so it'd be like the RX-9 or whatever. But you bring it back correctly. You fuck it up like the Prelude, and I'm gonna be a disappointing ass parent, bro. That's how that's gonna be.
I think everyone learned from the Prelude. I don't think we have to worry about that because they've already confirmed this thing is not going to be an EV, and it's probably not even going to be a performance hybrid. It's going to be raw.
We need all four of the major Japanese manufacturers to do what they did during the 90s and have 8 fucking sports cars each that they're all selling at the same time, okay? Get it done.
Yeah.
We want the golden days back.
I want a WRX that's actually worth shit. I want the Evo back. I want the Sylvia back. I want the GTR back. We have the 8.6 back, and it's a true successor. I don't care what anyone says.
And while you're at it, somebody bring back the Lancer name, just because I know it would make some fanboys happy.
Yeah. What the hell is Mitsubishi even doing?
They sell to fucking Nowhereville, non-USA. They sell to third worlds as fucking reliable shit boxes.
There's a Mitsubishi dealership up the road from me, and I don't know how they stay in business.
The only things they sell, I see them very, very rarely, but I think they sell SUVs here in very small numbers, and that's it.
That's all I hear about them selling is SUVs. Do they sell? You know what do they sell? Because they kind of just dropped off the radar.
The fact that there's even a Mitsubishi left is crazy to me. Scion got dropped, Pontiac got dropped. If I was going to pick out of the 3 of these, which one would have survived, it would have been Pontiac.
They make the Outlander and they make the Eclipse. What the fuck? Why are they still in business?
I don't know. What are they a subsidiary of? They got bought by somebody.
Good.
Who owns Mitsubishi?
Mitsubishi owns Mitsubishi, I think.
What do they got? 3 guys on the factory floor making all the cars? They can't have a very big business.
Nissan.
19
Nissan owns a quarter of them.
Okay, so Nissan is partially funding them. They need to bring back the Lancer.
If anyone has the opportunity to come out of left field and like just come back onto the market in a big way and be like bam, 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 it's Mitsubishi. They could.
I agree.
I mean, with Nissan owning a quarter of them, well, granted, if Nissan owns a quarter of them, Nissan is not going to want Mitsubishi to bring back the Lancer because
It's an all-wheel drive car. It doesn't compete with anything on them. It'd be. I'd say if Nissan owned a quarter of them, you give them the engines similar or detuned from the Z with a lot of potential on them, make them all-wheel drive like they used to be, and then make them like mini GTRs that are competing on the level of Subaru race cars.
Yeah, because
that creates competition in the market for Subaru, and that's
the sports coupes are back. The Miata never went away, but we got the Miata, we got the 8.6, we got the Z. So many fun sports coupes. Sports sedans are coming back in a big way. What about rally cars?
Yeah,
the WRX sucks, and the Evo doesn't exist anymore. Where
the Lancer needs to make a comeback originally as a fucking Nissan, almost Nissan-esque product. It needs a Nissan engine with a highly tunable. It needs to be a baby GTR. That's what that car needs to be.
All-wheel drive, and then Subaru needs to get their heads out of their asses, stop taking Toyota's shit, and make a WRX that doesn't suck, and then bring back the STI badge.
Well, spin off STI like Gazoo Racing.
Yeah.
Spin them off and let them start fucking eating. You give them plenty to munch on and let them eat, and they can fucking make you something.
Go back to the days where STI was doing crazy shit. Go back to the days of the Forester STI, when STI crammed one of their fucking insane things into an SUV and made it just bonkers. Like, that is the one segment of the Japanese car industry right now that is lacking.
What was it we talked about? What was it we talked about 4 weeks ago? The sports car planning office or something from Subaru? Is that what it was? They need to fucking just rename it the STI office and move on with their day. Let STI eat.
But for now, we've got the GTR. We've got rumors of a new Sylvia.
Nissan is on a very good trajectory for the future.
Mm-hmm.
With us peeling back layers and layers of bullshit that we've been putting on car manufacturers for the past, God, way too fucking long. Toyota's being very good about it lately. Subaru could use a little kick in the pants. Honda, it looks like it's on the verge of actually acting on a kick in the pants. It sounds like it finally got it and is now reacting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. I'm very excited about the future of sports cars, though, especially out of Japan.
Moving away from sports cars, then, although staying on Nissan, they're making a cheap Xterra.
If I was to buy anything that wasn't a sports car from Nissan, it'd probably be the Xterra. So this is actually exciting news.
I don't like SUVs, even though I technically own one, but I liked this version of the Xterra, and I see them around occasionally, and they do look. That's what an SUV should look like.
The Xterra and the Patrols are just both nuts vehicles.
Yeah,
they're very good.
But if I may speak on styling for a moment, like this, SUV design kind of peaked in with the rest of the auto industry, really, in the teens. This is what an SUV is supposed to look like. That front end, chunky front fascia, looks like it's got friggin' reinforcing bars, big, boxy. I mean, they're not supposed to look aerodynamic. They're supposed to look tough, and they're supposed to be tough. That's what this thing
Yeah,
looks
they're
like.
supposed to be
And I
boxes
love it.
on wheels.
Yeah. And I like it. Hopefully, they can match some of that energy with the new one, which under 40K, affordable SUV. I mean, I don't like SUVs. I don't know how I feel about one being even more accessible to the masses, but it's neat. And
I think this is a very good thing too. I think if they make this thing, it might have potential as like a fun off-road car. Like a Jeep, like a cheap Jeep.
because Jeeps aren't cheap anymore.
That is true. So I'm talking like the XJs, like the old box ones. If they can make something like that where people take them, mod them, and
Yeah.
fucking take them on back road trails, these could be very fun cars, and they could be very, very like beginner of the road affordable, which would be good in this fucking market.
So besides, oh my God, it's going to be body on frame. They are serious about this.
The
It is
more of
gonna,
this
you
article I
know what?
read,
It's gonna be good. You know, it's
yeah.
not gonna be unibody. They're actually serious about making a real SUV and not just a pavement princess grocery getter. And
It says they will offer it with a gas only V6 or a V6 hybrid. So gas only V6, decent. I'm liking where I'm heading, especially it has a V before the 6 instead of some inline fucker application. I think big cars
hope,
need V engines.
hopefully, it'll probably. My money is that under 40K is going to be the base trim. It's going to be probably 38-ish. It's probably gonna be front wheel drive, maybe rear wheel drive. And then they're gonna have another one for like 42 to 45 that's either going to be full all wheel drive or it's going to be 4x4 with like a selectable diff.
Yeah, normally rear 4x4 enabled
Yeah.
is what I'd guess for higher trims. Just like a truck. If they're going as hard as they look like they're going for this,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't be surprised.
The line that sells me is body on frame because that means they're actually serious about making it an actual serious off roader and making it durable and not just building a unibody pavement princess.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like it a lot. As long as we're going back to body on frame, maybe Ford will bring back Crown Vic.
Good point. Maybe Chevy will do the fucking Blazer right.
Maybe.
Whoever designed the Blazer, the new Blazer, needs to have their ass kicked, and then they need to be tied to a bumper of a new Blazer and dragged through a city.
I have noticed there's starting to be a trend in the car industry of prices coming down. And I like
That's
that.
a good thing.
The,
That's a very, very good thing.
we're starting to see new models be priced like middle of the pack with their competitors and not top of the pack.
Yeah,
Going
it
back
was
to
it
like
was it was a race for who was the most expensive for the least that they could give you for a while there.
the
It was
most
bad.
expensive and also like the most unnecessary like luxury crap. Going back to the last segment briefly, that yes, Nissan's bringing back the GTR, which is going to be their like top of the line sports car, but they're also like, will bring back the Sylvia, an affordable sports car. They're actually manufacturers are starting to pay attention to trying to make more affordable, more accessible sports cars and vehicles of all types. Um, the Elantra N being substantially cheaper than the Type R, the Elantra in general not being crap anymore. Maybe we're starting to recover from the fucking COVID 2020 madness where everyone just had unlimited stimulus checks and unlimited free shitty credit and cars got absurdly expensive.
It
Um,
was I think part of the reason we're finally starting to see it come down, it's like gas prices. So they go up slow.
mhm.
Or they go up fast and they come down very slow. I think we're finally getting to the point 3-4 years after fucking COVID finally mostly went away, almost 5 years now, where the market's starting to come down for And I think the thing that kicked off the actual come down was we're stripping back EV mandates, so we're paying people less to go buy the EVs, which,
Well, we're not
you
paying them
have
at
to.
all, I think.
Yeah, we're not paying him at all anymore. And then also, I think, didn't he start peeling back all the regulations against gas cars and stuff?
Yep, cafes get stripped away, which means we can actually build mid-sized cars again, which is good.
That'll be nice. I'm sick of everything being the size of Texas. I live in Texas, and I don't want all my cars to be the size of Texas. It's fucking ridiculous.
I think it's also there was this like from the late teens. There's like this decade long period from like the mid teens to today where because it's more than just COVID. For a while, cars had been getting bigger and more featured, and they have more crap jammed in them, and they're more expensive. COVID kind of kicked a lot of that into high gear, but there was this expectation in consumers for a while that they were going to have these luxury mobiles and cars were going to be expensive and premium, and people started using them as status symbols. And that's finally starting to come to an end, and people are starting to demand more affordable, more reasonable vehicles, and manufacturers are finally starting to accommodate that.
I think the manufacturers really just thought at some point that the consumer's going to buy whatever the fuck they sell.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to spend whatever money they want, you might as well only get top trimmed cars. Well, we don't fucking work like that, especially not when the economy's shit. Even the people that work for you don't want your product because it's too expensive, you have a problem.
Yeah. I think they've also realized that if they can't sell to young people aren't going to buy cars. They're going to buy shitty e-bikes. So they
Yeah.
need to have affordable cars that they can get young people into so that young people realize that cars are fun and amazing and they keep buying them instead of buying shitty e-bikes or
Well, not
worse,
only that, I mean,
Teslas.
you have to even have exciting cars, and cafe standards were killing exciting cars.
Yeah.
The rise of the SUV wasn't good for fucking anybody. It was good for the wallet of the fucking executives for like 5 years, and then it started going downhill.
So to conclude, I suppose, here's hoping that this represents the start or a sign of or a potential for a trend where we don't have to pay $1 million for a new car anymore and not everything has to be top fucking trim. So that's
That's always the hope.
all we've got for news for this week. I think I can't think of anything else. It's a slow like we're in what like second quarter now. The news gets slow. You get all the big news in first quarter. You get all the big news in like late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and then in the middle of the year is kind of quiet.
Yeah, they want that initial jump for the year so that they can see the stock rise a little bit on announcements.
Yeah. So.
And then they need to do it again by middle end of the year.
Yep. So quiet year, but well, quiet week, quiet week, but we persist. And moving on to what grinds my gears this week. And what grinds my gears this week is assholes who show up to car events, track days, autocross, rallycross, car meets, whatever the case, and they get offended and get their panties in a twist over basic, simple fucking rules. And what set me off on this one was a video that I saw on Instagram. Follow me at Subitruck. That is SUBITRUCK with an underscore at the end. On Instagram, I saw this reel. It was a guy who got black flagged at a track event. And to be clear, I can't find the video again. But to be clear, the guy who's driving, he's cool. He's a G. The guy who black flagged him, the marshal, dude pulls into the pits, and this is it's like a pot-bellied old guy with a stogie, smoking a cigar. Pulls him in, and he's just like, "Yeah, you've got to GoPro strap to your helmet. That's against the rules." Guy in the car goes, "Okay," takes it off. I think he puts it on like a different mount in the car. Marshall lets him go, peels off. Normal ass interaction, right? Rules are you know, a lot of events they don't let you have. I think SCCA bans it as well. You can't have GoPro mounts on your helmet because in a crash, if your head's whipping around, a lot of those mounts they get caught on something, they yank your head around in a weird direction. That's their reasoning for it. You know how valid that is. Who's to say? The Martians, that's who says. But I'm looking at the comments in this video of a perfectly normal, reasonable interaction of, hey, there's a little rule, fix it, okay, you're good, go. And it's a bunch of fucking weirdos just going on about, oh, this is crap. I wouldn't spend money to go to a car meet and then follow these stupid petty rules. It's like, it's basic shit, and it's not even that fucking unreasonable. And then there's other people who are showing up who are like, well, dude, you can just mount your GoPro somewhere else. It's not that. It's not all that. And they go, oh, you're a bootlicker. You're standing with the man. Why are you letting yourself be?
I have a name for those. They're accountability Karens.
I think they really are, and it's part of why the car community has slipped so badly in the last couple of years, culminating in, say it with me, slammed enough gat, which everyone should remember. That is our not. I'm not going to say it's our 9/11 because that's a fucking wild thing to say. But you can kind of see why someone might say something like that.
It's the crowning moment. It's the fucking culmination of all the years of putting up with this shit.
Yeah. The foundation that built Slammed Enough Gat is people being fucking weird about basic fucking rules, about not being able just to go, well, okay, that's I don't agree with your rule, but you know what? I'll just mount my GoPro somewhere else.
Well, and I can add to this too because I was scrolling YouTube and saw a story come up. Guy in a Hellcat pulls up to a meet or whatever, and they had been spreading the flyer online, and at the very bottom of the on the very bottom of the flyer, it said no revving, no excessive this, and this. Hellcat pulls up, starts doing excessive revving, gets called on it. And then the guy comes up to him and says, hey, didn't you read the flyer? He goes, do I look like the kind of person that reads a flyer? Then fucking come. I came to support you. Well, we don't want your fucking Hellcat here making all kinds of noise because it gets kicked out. It gets us kicked out of places like this because the companies that own those places are very fucking anti. It takes a lot of convincing to let you stay there and very easy to get you kicked out.
Well, and there were people I saw in the comments that, because I saw the video too, and there were people in the comments defending that shit.
Yeah.
And clowning on the people trying to enforce basic fucking rules. And it's like, you don't understand. The basic little rules exist so that we don't have to deal with big, actually frustrating rules. Okay? The no GoPro on your helmet shit exists so that we don't have people, we don't have people getting like super pissy and bent out of shape, and then we go, okay, just no GoPros. You just can't record it because you're being pissy, you're sneaking this shit through, and that's not a super great example, but it's in line with some of this other shit. We have these
I'm
little.
I'm more on the we don't want you to die.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. The no GoPro rule is so people don't die. People start dying, all of a sudden that sport becomes too dangerous to continue. I fucking can't put words together anymore.
A better example, an actual practical example, is the no revving at meets shit is a small rule because it's not hard to follow. It's not hard to follow. I get it. Your engine sounds sweet. No revving, no burnouts. I know it sounds awesome, but you will live. The exact... let me finish. You will live without doing that, but that exists so that we don't have the big stupid rules like no VQs. Because there are events now, there are Cars and Coffees that have straight up just said no VQs. None of that. We no 350Zs, no 370Zs, no fucking Nissan Altimas. Because It's fucking VQ owners revving the shit out of and they have their stupid trumpet exhausts. And so now they just have to ban an entire classic car. And I'm sure there are like casual enthusiasts. I almost bought a 370Z at one point.
My next purchase is going to be a 370Z if everything goes well.
Yeah, there are casual fucking owners who have nothing but good intentions in their heart, like you and I, who might purchase or are planning to purchase these cars, who can't bring them to meets because there's a bunch of people who own these cars who can't fucking behave, who can't follow the little simple rules, and maybe they sound or feel a little stupid, but they are the barrier, they are the safety barrier between us and the big stupid rules.
Yeah.
You know, between you have to have your car turned off to meet, or you know, the fucking, you know, the 87 decibel track noise limits.
The flyer for this particular event that I was talking about didn't even say no revving. It said no excessive revving. If you're pulling into a meet and you just give it a like blip, probably would have been fine. But I have to imagine that this asshole in the Charger was going and just like bouncing it off rev limiter constantly. Because, you know, it's that kind of guy. They're fucking dickheads.
I get not wanting to be constrained by a ton of rules. But the only way that we can have a society that doesn't have a ton of stupid rules is to have a society that doesn't need a ton of stupid rules. Or instead of society, I suppose a community, right? If we get people that can't fucking behave, we need rules. And if they still can't fucking behave, the rules get harsher and they get dumber and they get worse. Because if we don't impose the fucking rules, they'll get imposed on us for us. By people that do not have our best interests at heart, by people who at best don't care about us and at worst hate us. So if the flyer says no excessive revving, give it a little blip on the way in, and then shut the fuck up. And don't act high and mighty and superior and flaunt the fact that you don't follow basic fucking rules.
They kicked the guy out. They straight up made him leave. And I still imagine that there were complaints from the fucking venue because of that. Because he was there for their event and they don't like revving and blah, blah, blah. And we're trying to do a business here. It's like, well, then just don't like. My question is why car people can't manage to fucking buy a building to host this shit in. Like, have you ever noticed that we always have to host them somewhere that's owned not by car people?
Because
I wish car people would have enough money.
Do not have money. Car clubs.
I'm not talking about car clubs. I'm talking about the guy. I really wish one of these billionaires would just allow us to use their facility. They fucking have all the cars that they could come show off with. They love the shit. We always got to deal with people that hate car people. Or just like them barely enough to let them stay and then always fucking have to complain about everything. So, I mean, I guess we just need more rich car people, but unfortunately every rich car person has the same problem. They have too many cars, not enough money.
This is what grinds my gears this week. It's just seeing people, not even the people necessarily breaking the rules that really grinds my gears. It's the people acting all high and mighty and whining about other people being bootlickers. Because we just want a basic, orderly community that isn't a ton we don't want a ton of fuckwits that get off on being as annoying and flagrant in your face as possible.
Yeah, we want a
people
community
that actually
that's not
respect other people.
We want a community that's not going to get kicked out of places. We want a community that can actually hold their events and not fucking be looped in with these dickheads that do takeovers. It's not the same community. Those people are not car people. They're thieves with too much time on their hands, and they have nothing better to do with their lives.
And they can't drive for shit anyways.
I mean, they just proved that. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. The kids, the fucking takeover brats.
Yeah, pull them up on Instagram. There was this dude who found a video of some kids doing a toge run in the middle of the night. They fucked up the most basic fucking mountain turn at speed. And then he goes, "Oh, I wonder what else is on this account." And the next video is them doing burnouts on takeover. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can't fucking drive.
These idiots don't know how to drive. They have no skill behind any of it. They have no idea how to drive.
Mashing throttle and brake and turning the wheel is not skill. But
those aren't car people. Those are bored teenagers with too much time on their hands.
And then they come to our fucking meets and act like hooligans. I hate to extend this for super long, but I was at a fucking road rally. Just a basic. We're lining up in this park and ride to go on a road rally, which is basically just a scavenger hunt in cars. It's actually really fun. These kids show up in. It was really stupid too. It was like they had taken like a newer model Subaru Forester and like slammed it and built it out the way they do. They riced it. They riced a fucking Forester. I don't. Beyond me why you would do that. And they were acting like hooligans because they saw a bunch of nice cars and people standing around, and they thought, "Oh, this is a car meet. I can crash this and be a hooligan." And luckily for us, we were lining up to get the fuck out of there, so we just drove off. But it's like, do you little fucking weirdos not have anything better to do with your time?
No, they don't. That's why they go looking for trouble. They cause trouble because they have nothing better to do. If they had a home life, if they had people raising them correctly, wouldn't be an issue.
I mean, I hate to sound like a boomer, but I also hate to live in a world where we can't go autocrossing, we can't have car meets. The only way we can like compare and have fun with cars on the internet is simulators. I don't want to live in that world. And if not living in that world requires me to be a little bit of a boomer and enforce just a little bit of a standard, shit, life sucks.
I have no problem being a boomer if that means enforcing standards on idiots.
And on that terrible disappointment, I think it's time to end. Unless you got anything, any parting thoughts?
I think we got it all out of the way. I'm just still rage baiting over stupid shit.
Have a very good evening.
Have a good night, everybody.